Hello, I'm Alan Sill. I'm Vice President of Standards for the Open Grid Forum, and I work on the area of turning the community background and input into actual products, actual work products that we can use in big distributed computing projects. Over the last year, we've seen a tremendous amount of activity in productive output standards. Just in the last 3 months, we've released over a dozen actual finished grid final documents, GFDs. They can be found at ogf.org/documents, and I encourage people to look at them. So partnerships all over the globe are the essence of the Open Grid Forum. We produce our standards through a community-based process. We do it globally, and I've been here to Taiwan several times in the past, have built up a lot of good working relationships. I've also worked and lived in Japan, and have colleagues and contacts in a lot of places. But even those are completely inadequate to the challenge of working globally, because any one person only can meet with the people that they know and talk with the people that they remember the emails and Skype and handles and so forth to. What we want is a process that's actually based in the community. And so we come to events like this at ISGC to create that process, to culture that process, to encourage people to work independently. A really good example is the International Grid Trust Federation, which actually is composed of 3 basic organizations, 3 PMAs, as we call them, policy management authorities. The Asia Pacific Grid PMA, the Americas Grid PMA, and the EU Grid PMA are the actual members of the IGTF, and they work in their portions of the globe independently and come together to make agreements on a global basis. So the International Grid Trust Federation is a good model for how OGF should go forward. We've had an extremely successful project in Europe called OGF Europe, which concluded after a 3-year successful run and produced the Sienna process, which is now driving grid and cloud interoperability in Europe. We think that same pattern can play out here in the Asia Pacific region as well. And we certainly want to see OGF Asia Pacific, OGF Americas follow the OGF Europe pattern. Normally an organization like OGF doesn't take a lot more effort to run than an average community organization or a Cub Scout pack. I don't mean to say that in any disparaging way, but the people who come to our work group meetings, our research group meetings, work on our standards, know each other and know how to work together. Cloud is throwing into the mix a huge variety of people who do not come from that background, have not worked for 10 years together on the same topics. And that's created a lot of very interesting and volatile churn. So our challenge is to respond to this with the more than a decade of experience that Open Grid Forum brings, but to respond to it in a way that is open to the new challenges and the new technological and social opportunities that seem to be characterizing how cloud organizations work. The big challenges that occupy my time are turning this interest into actual standards roadmaps. We are engaged with standards roadmap development all over the globe in specific, very targeted ways. The NIST process in the Americas, the Sienna process that I already referred to in Europe. Here in the Asia Pacific region, we have 2 or 3 interesting organizations: the Global Intercloud Technology Forum, GICTF, the Asia Cloud Computing Association, and there's several other based in China. So we try to find and target these roadmap efforts and just exchange information among them so that they all move in the direction of standards that can be used quickly in the field in large-scale projects. I'm personally astounded how fast this is going. Things that we just thought were conceptual ideas a few months ago are now actual projects, many of them funded, many of them producing output. I like this. We like working with impatient people that want to get things done quickly, and that's what we're trying to do by targeting these roadmap efforts.